Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Child's Play 2. Sorry, Jack, Chucky's back.
Directed by John Lafia, starring Alex Vincent, Elise, and Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. This movie continues a few years after the original took place. Andy's mom has now been committed to a psychiatric ward, so Andy is forced to live in foster care. Unfortunately, Chucky isn't far behind, and he's been recreated for some strange reason by the creators of the Good Guy doll, and now he's stalking Andy to try and transfer his soul into him. So what do we like? I like this one because this is where we actually see Chucky be himself. He's now grown. From the first one, we saw a little bit of like the tongue-in-cheek humor, but now this is the Chucky that we love.
You're dead.
He's crazy, he's still creepy, and he's definitely still killing people, but he's also witty while doing so. It's also neat to see, like, not all the dolls are Chucky.
Hi, I'm Tommy, and I'm your friend to the end.
Like, I thought that was hilarious. It's just like, any of these motherfuckers could be Chucky. Who knows?
In the first one, it was more like Chucky was just killing them to make it seem like it was accidents or whatever. But in this one, we had some really good over-the-top kills, especially at the factory in the end. The final showdown was a fun time in the factory. I think that is like the best part. Like, you just have to watch the last 10 minutes to really appreciate all the stuff that Chucky does to these people.
The last part is the most memorable, I think, for a lot of people, mainly because of the eye thing.
I liked how they tried to finish Chucky off. It was very intense. They were like using the factory machine, like stapling him down, taking parts off, trying to blow him up. There was a variety.
I criticized him in the first one, but I think Alex Vincent is getting better. I don't think he's there yet. He was better in this movie than he was in the first one. I mean, he's older now. I don't know if he was in anything else in between Child's Play 1 and 2, but he seemed like he could handle acting a little bit better. So I'm not giving him total props at all, but I'm saying he was more tolerable.
I also liked Elise as Kyle. She's an orphan like Andy, but she's one of those ones when you look at her, you think she's just gonna be like the badass rebel girl, but she ends up being more of like a mother figure to him and like believes him, takes care of him, and I liked her character. She was like tough, but also like gentle.
The cinematography was excellent. They do a lot of really interesting moves, even in the factory, like on the conveyor belts and like the rolly things. And they use the cinematography to deliver some pretty good scares, especially like Chucky in the closet. That freaked the shit out of me.
I think one of my personal favorites was just the eeriness when they kept going back to Chucky being thrown in the basement. They fake you out. There's times where he's lying in there, nicely framed, well lit, and then other times he's gone, and it's creepy looking down there.
I said that I was afraid of Child's Play 1. It's like, what if I had just thrown my buddy down the stairs, left him there, okay, I'll get him in the morning, I go to open the door, he's gone. For fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
Don't go near a closet. Now let's move on to our dislikes.
Because this is a sequel, we didn't really need to build up any mystery with Chucky. It should have been more Chucky just running on a rampage, killing people. I felt like this movie was way slower than what it should have been.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's always necessary for a little bit of tension, but you're right. And this is a little side from this, but like, why did he wait 2 years? I mean, they put him back together, but give me a break. We've seen him put himself back together. Why is it 2 years later and they're like, oh, yeah, Chucky's back? Like, he would have found a way. And he would have pieced himself back together and he would have fucking found Andy.
Yeah, he would have been voodooing himself into either a new body or like a mega super stitched up body.
If he's in a room full of dolls, put them all on there. It'd be a massive, huge Chucky doll walking around. That would have been dope. There was a lot of things that they could have played with, and they did try some cool things, but they didn't go as over the top as they could have, and I think they should have utilized like the factory and the multiple dolls way earlier on, because that was the cool part.
It didn't need Chucky to hide from the fact that he was a killer, because his only purpose for this film was to get Andy alone and transfer his soul. And because Andy already knows that he's a killer, Chucky's just gotta kill everyone and then leave it to Andy.
That's it, just kill them all.
there was no reason for him to try and like deceive the people around Andy because
It's irrelevant.
if anything, Andy's trying to stop Chucky from this happening and he's trying to convince people. So solve the problem, kill the people who Andy's trying to convince.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I really enjoyed Child's Play 2 because this is where we see Chucky become the Chucky that we all love. He's out there, he's killing people, he's still stalkery, but he's becoming funnier. And I like that. This movie's also just like really memorable for me. We do have some issues. Alex Vincent still is not the best. I still don't love kids, but he did a better job. However, I think they could have used like the multiple like good guy dolls a lot more, and they could have sped up the whole movie in general, but it's still a great movie. So I'm gonna give this 4 car phones out of 5.
Child's Play 2 is a fun film, especially in the final act. It's one of those ones that you could just watch over and over again the last 10 minutes because it's got all the cool kills and it's got the high action like showdown and cat and mouse game that you want to see. The only issue I have with this is I felt that the pacing was really off in this film and it was a lot slower than what it should have been. It was focusing too much on Andy in his new foster home and building up to this whole secrecy that we got from the first one, that I kind of wanted this to be more faster paced and just Chucky running around and killing people. It's not like it was a bad story by any means. It's just I felt they didn't need to go with this direction. And of course, I absolutely loved Chucky in this one. I thought he was funnier. He looked just as cool, and I appreciated the deaths that we got. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 3 cool guy Andys out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there is a brand new Chucky 7 movie collection linked in the description. Check it out. And if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.